The last 5 years has been kind of a cratering of the religious population.
Okay. All right. That's a good thought. Calvin, to you, sir.
My take on it is I think Christianity at its core is a good thing to promote. It teaches us or preaches, morals, ethics, values, things of that nature, all things wholesome. So anything that's going to promote that amongst people, amongst our citizens, is a good thing. I think that's great to be more Christ-like. The thing is, are people really trying to be more Christ-like? They say it. I listen to a lot of people say they call themselves Christians, but when you actually look at what they do and they say, it's really not Christian-like. It's all talk and no, and nothing serious behind it. So I think Christianity good if we can preach that. And to the other point, yeah. Christianity is a hustle game. People are making a lot of money from it, so that's the very downside to it. So yeah, that's my feeling towards it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Spin to you, sir.
I'm going to pretty much back what Calvin said at the end there. The Bible is a good grift. Everybody's dictation of the Bible is their own, right? When it comes to big box churches, because that's what they are, like Joel Osteen and all those other super freaks that are out for one thing, and that is money. It is all money. Do I think Christ should be more pronounced in schools and people should live by some of the biblical rules? Yes. But I think religion is the biggest grift other than YouTube or people on YouTube. That's how I believe.
Okay. All right, Craig, baby, to you, sir.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of where he's coming from, because that's my main thing. Is you see people and they're misusing the Bible, and a lot of people are losing their souls at the same time because they think they're going there for a good soul filling message, and then next thing you know, sorry, I got dogs barking. Next thing you know, they're being manipulated and drowned down to the worst of the worst, darkest pit. If that makes sense. But it's like we need a redirection on how we understand Christianity, because there's too many diversities within Christianity and too many different beliefs, and nobody believes on the same thing, which that shouldn't be Christianity. There should be a one understanding about it and everybody's clear on that one thing. But the problem is no one is. And so now we're having a war between Christianity alone. You got Orthodox people thinking that they're the best, Catholics, Baptists. It's like, okay, enough showing your dicks. Let's get to the real messages and let's save people's lives. All right. But that's my piece into it.
Fair enough. And as a reminder, I've got Jack Talcott, a religious leader on YouTube. Nobody better than to have this conversation but him. But you got to get him up here since our seats filled back up. Somebody boot Saint, the sarcastic little shit. Somebody boot him so we can get Jack up here. Clay, go ahead, sir.
So I'm assuming that the topic is grifting the Bible, essentially.
Well, actually, the main piece of the topic is religion. Is it making a comeback? Trump gave a speech this Easter about how religious numbers are increasing, and people are getting back to America is getting back to religion, so on and so forth. But I'm also seeing, paired with that statement, number one, we have politicians dabbling in with religions. Where do we feel on that? But also we have the OnlyFans suddenly getting baptized and going, glory hole instead of just a hole. And then we have our Bible grifters also out there who are utilizing religion as a tool to gain money. So that's so you got a few things you can tap into.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tap into the expectation that everybody would believe the same thing. I just don't see it. I don't see how it could be possible. And so because of that, I would look at it from the viewpoint of I do see the benefit in believing in a creator who is loving, of course, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to see this creation as a loving arrangement. But regardless of that, life is a good thing. Death, I couldn't say it's bad necessarily, but it's not good. And if you go back to the story of the garden, that tree that they were told not to eat of, that was the determination that they would have learned what is good and evil. But I'm going to say I don't know, because the thing is I'm not the decider of what is good and evil. That would be a creator. The one who created all things makes that determination, makes determinations on a lot of things. I have agency over my own life, but that's about it. So I'm not expecting everybody to believe the same thing, but I would also say that, like I said, it's a good thing. Here it is. I'm making a judgment call, saying it's a good thing to have a faith-based view on life. I believe what I believe because I see it as good.
Okay, perfect. And sarcastic saint, you little shit, what you thinking?
First thing, why so much hate from you? What the fuck did I do to you, you little shit? I mean, my God.
Hold on, should I reread your super chats from earlier? Huh?
Yeah. Fuck you too. Okay. Anyways, I agree with Calvin. I think that having Christianity is a good thing. Christianity is about a relationship. It's not about religion. Okay, it was never about religion. And when you start getting religious, you start being more like the Pharisees and the Sadducees of the Bible. And a lot of these big box churches that we talked about are acting like that now. I think we need to get. I think that what I was taught was that if you want to judge a person, you need to judge a person by what the Bible says. So we need to start judging people by what the Bible says, and this goes for anybody who wants to judge these big box churches. I think it's very important that we have some kind of belief system in the United States. But I'm also worried about all these religions that are coming back and becoming bigger, like Islam and like Hindu. I'm worried about that, but I would rather have a relationship with Christ instead of having a religious relationship with Christ. And that's how I feel about that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Balderson.
And fuck you, Sarah.
I think that Effigy's information's old information. That in the 50s and the 60s, we had the Red Scare, and that was the height of Christianity in the country. They really spread it in order to fight communism. I think that the liberal movement has done a very similar thing. And so in 2020, I can agree there was definitely a downward trend from the 90s to 2020 where churches were on the way down. What really's happened, though, is that the young people have started moving toward the church. And interestingly, they're moving toward more of the strict hardline churches. And I would say that is a direct bounce back from the liberal mindset where the country has just basically been lighting itself on fire and there's no rules whatsoever and people just do the most crazed shit. And so, unfortunately, people, rather than just take self-control, find that they need to be controlled, which is what the church has always been for, is controlling the people. And so they're choosing that of themselves because they can't find the answer in themselves.
Okay. All right. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Shaman, to you, please.
Oh man, religion. I think we should all just go look into Zoroastrianism. It's much more simple. It's older than all of them. Zarathustra existed before Abraham. and it's A, B, C, and free will. As far as churches and so on, we're always getting manipulated by those who rule. It's just funny because if you really look at, and this is not a dig against especially Jesus, but we're talking about the organizations of religions. Christianity was consolidated by a 23-year-old Emperor Constantine in 323 to 325 AD to create one unified perspective. That took 2 years of the greatest minds summoned in the council, in the first ecumenical council. It was 8 over the course of 1,000 years to consolidate and make everyone believe the same thing. The first crusade killed, oh my God, it's definitely more Christians than anyone else, but all in hopes to suppress any older ideas to have this one unified thing, as that's the Catholic Church. It's also very weird. Any religion that tells the people of God that you're not allowed to have women is very odd to me. And then if you fast forward to, like 1570 with King Henry was like 23 years old, wanted to divorce his wife. The Pope said, "You're not divorcing your wife. We just made peace with France." He goes, "Fuck you, then I'm gonna create my own religion." And that was the Reformation. And his grandson was King James, where now the vicar of Christ on earth is the King of England, no longer the Pope of Rome. And there you have the two variations of Christianity. So you got a 23-year-old emperor from Rome, and then you have thousands of years later a 23, and his grandson was 31 when he decided to recreate Christianity. So I agree with Crack Baby that you should go find your relationship with Jesus, or Jesus as Christ yourself.
All right, fair enough.
Whomever.
And somebody please pay to boot Saint so we can get Jack Talcott out here. The actual YouTube oh my God, what was my word?
Yeah, what was your word?
We don't know. We can't hear the
leader-
voices in your head.
Religious leader on YouTube. Let's get his butt up here. Saint says, "Sorry, Spin, we can't hear you or see you, and that isn't good. Take 10 in the back to figure out those tech issues you are having and bring back Jackson. Sarah wants him so badly." Guess what, Saint, though? He's a no boot panelist. He was here at the beginning.
Damn. Well, then boot me, okay?
Oh, you do love me, but to the back you go. I love you, Saint. You are such a hero. He's my champion. He loves me. All right, Mr. Talcott, I want to get your thoughts, since you are of the religious side of things, and you often use more inspirational, spiritual kind of realms of things. I'd love to hear your take.
Well, I sure appreciate that. And to the sarcastic Saint, sincerely, thank you. And this is an interesting conversation, because I forgot who said what, but I think Effigy brought up some of the stats I'd heard too about drops in religion. But I know what I've seen. I keep hearing about new churches starting up, and then there's also the direction of the youth going into some of the more traditional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But someone that gave the right answer that I heard, I think the solution for our future is going to be less about the religious practices and more about the relationship, right?
Yeah, that was Crack Baby, I think.
Relationship with Christ, relationship with love, relationship with each other, most of all. And
no, I concur. Yeah.
I think Trump and other signs are just that. They are signs from God for mankind to say, "Hey, fellas, what are we doing here? How long are we going to continue down this path of evil leading the way?" That's my thought.
Yep. No, that's a good one. Who did I lose? Was that Spin again? All right, Spin's having tech issues. All right. Carpenter Tom comes in with the Big 10 and says, "I'm a believer, but online grifting just borrowed the church model that already existed for thousands of years." And I can't help but to confirm that I 110% agree with that sentiment. Does anybody else have a thought to that?
Yeah, y'all need to pay Sarah y'all tithes and offerings right now. So y'all owe her y'all tithes and offerings. So everybody gonna pass around the bucket. Y'all send y'all dollar or two into her cash app, and this is how we gonna say it in the name of Jesus. Amen.
I don't even have a bucket in my cult. We use an old hubcap.
We actually use oversized coffee mugs here at Mater Nation.
Whatever you got, hell, use dirty underwears. I don't care. Just give her your money, put it in there, and tie it up.
I love it. I love it. Tom says churches allot 25 to 45% of the inflow to pastor salaries and benefits. You know, that money, God who owns the cattle on the thousand hills needs. That's a most excellent point. I think my biggest issue with the big box churches is watching the preachers roll up in really expensive cars, have really expensive jewelry and suits on, and if they really like, this is what I do love about Catholic churches. I'm Catholic, and it's number one, I love the traditionalism that's set behind it, but the priests at the Catholic Church, like, they live on a very, very, very little income. They're living in a house that's provided by the church. The nuns are all of those the basic needs are provided, and they're not utilized. They don't have the material things because that's not what we were taught. And I think that's beautiful. So that makes a big difference. James says, big religion, big government, big corporate all suffer from the same issue. Too big for human beings to manage, no matter the fantasy land communists live in. Anyone have a thought to that? Is somebody talking?
I think someone has an echo.
Regarding that comment, it seems kind of defeatist to me. Too big for human beings to manage, no matter the fantasy land communists live in. So does that mean that self-defeat has meant we're resolved to this capitalist system that promotes big religion, big government, and big corporate?
Yeah,
That's
all
not what
systems
he's
try to
saying at all.
manage large
He's
things.
saying that it's got to be smaller and more tribal.
Smaller
if
communities
something gets big. Go ahead.
Yeah, smaller communities tend to do better because everybody knows everybody. Everybody's accountable to each other, and it's easier to manage a group of people in a smaller amount versus, oh, I live in this big state. And I would say that that's kind of where society went wrong. We all decided, like, okay, well, there's this whole big state and this whole big city. I can move anywhere I want. I can do anything I want. So I am accountable to absolutely no one. We even see this in the family home life. Grandma and grandpa no longer live in the same state as their grandbabies, so they're not there to help and support. We've completely disassembled the home and family unit, not only in within the household, but on the family unit as a whole, in terms of like your extended family, your parents, your in-laws, your cousins. Because if you there are some families that still have it where like you live up the street from your uncle, your aunt over there, but they're tight knitted and well supported. But we've lost that because so many people are out chasing money in other cities, or I want to do this or I want to go here, that we've lost a lot of that community and like family type of concept at a small level, and we've given it up for big box Target.
I mean, I think we kind of got so dependent on daycares and not taking care of our kids to a certain age to where they can actually learn something. I mean, yeah, they might learn something at school, but I mean, they can learn a little bit more at home around parents 24/7. I'm not saying that, hell, keep them out of school till they're freaking 15, 18. No, unless you want to homeschool them. But I don't know. It seems like the kids these days aren't getting any smarter. It seems like the grades are dropping lower and lower. Like certain communities, I don't know how you talk about black, just even small towns, don't get the proper money that the kids need. And so, hell, most kids are reading lower than they're actually supposed to. And hell, they've been saying that same thing since I was in school. But hell, it kind of shows that it is a little bit. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents on it, though.
Okay. Anybody else have a thought to add in on that?
Most people need
Chance.
school to be as much of a daycare as they need it to be an education center because they cannot take the time to go live at home and teach their kids every day. People have to
Oh my
work.
God, this sounds like a fucking panel. I
Well,
was just
well, no, I
on.
know that, but I mean, that's why I said, realistically, yes, some people want that, but money won't allow that for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Right.
So is this like something in between? Because like you got the corporatist, and then you got the the extreme dependence, right? So it's fully independent or completely codependent. And for me, it's like it's something in between. I mean, yeah, when you're a child, you think like a child. You're relying on your parents, your family, that sort of thing. But when you get to a certain maturity, it's time to go out into the world. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you completely forget where you came from either, right? And so when you're talking about adults, there's still a dependency there. We do depend on each other, especially in a society. But to go completely codependent is unrealistic because there are people who just don't want to take care of your sorry ass. And that's the truth of it.
Well, but somebody mentioned, one of you mentioned, oh, well, we're not, I think Effigy said it, we're not able to, like, schools not only are an education system, but it's a daycare for people as well. But that kind of reels back to my point of losing that family mechanism, being close and having the support of people being local to you and a system in place, or even homesteading or living on a family, what's that word?
Compound.
It just seems like you're
Compound.
looking into the
Thank you.
past, though.
I am, and that's what I'm saying. Like we've gone one way, and now we're like the pendulum swung to where it's like independent, just husband and wife with their kid. But the government, is a babysitter for our with our education system. We've infantilized all of our youth. I mean, even my daughter, I notice a huge difference between her and myself. Like not much of a difference because she's still like me. But the work ethic of the youth and where they stand on wanting to work for stuff, like especially that generation just behind me, I'd say like 25 to 30-year-olds they're weird. Okay, they're really odd. They just don't want to do anything. There are the exceptions, but I'm noticing a pattern.
They're babies.
We've infantilized them. They don't know how to do what they're doing. And I think like we've like sucked on the government teat for long enough and like kept everybody down. And then now we've released them out into the wild and they don't know what to fucking do. Right.
We were there once.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
think we're
but
seeing
not the same. The generation she's talking about is literally the generation that got prizes just for showing up.
Well, I think you
Yes.
got a little.
Life, you
I
don't
think-
get a prize for showing up. Nobody cares that you showed up. They want you to do something, and they're like, "Do something I never had to before, motherfucker."
I agree. Well, Balderson, tell me if I'm incorrect, but you probably have quite a few years on me, right? I'm 40. Yeah. So because I'm 40, right, I'm in the millennial class. And when we're talking about it, there's a little bit of a gap with the X and the millennials because the X are like,
I am that gap.
yeah, you are that gap. I know that you are, Sasquatch. You know what I'm talking about. Yes. And it's crazy because I see what the X goes through. It's you guys go through the abandonment thing. It's you have to deal with the fucking world. And the millennials, we a little bit, yeah, we were dealing with it, but it wasn't like the X, So I see that.
Yeah, straight up, we were just cut loose. We were the first generation of latchkey kids.
Mhm.
That we didn't see our parents because they were the first generation that really had to work both parents had to always work two jobs, and we were just left feral. There wasn't any systems put in place to
Hey.
deal.
Oh, I like that word. Yes, perfect. Feral.
feral kid.
To be fair, as a kid, my mom worked too, and so it was just me and my older sister, and she watched me. So I was basically like the same thing. I mean, you could say my sister was older than me. She was like 9 years older than me. So yeah, I mean, but still, I was out doing bad shit like always. Yeah, and then even when my mom did start working, doing her change shifts, still was doing bad shit. I just want to do hood rat shit with my friends.
The
Will
problem,
religion? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
the problem with society right at the moment is 5 years ago, where the world essentially shut down. Nobody went to work. Nobody went to school. Societal change, or not society, well, the societal change was mommy and daddy are at home. So as the children were growing up or maturing, that is what they expected. Now, since society changed, where they said, fuck you, we're not going to let you work with your underwear on and at home, now they had to go back to work. So the 5 years or whatever it was for semantics, that has caused a lot of behavioral problems, i.e., the resistance, and I hate that fucking word, and the resistance to go back to what we would consider as an older generation a societal norm.
Okay. I want to know if because I think the newest upcoming generation right now, my daughter's age, I don't know what are they Z? 16,
Beta.
17?
Yeah, alpha and beta's the next.
Alpha and betas. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of
Surely alpha.
her peers they're going very right wing. They're going very traditional. They still have like the youth and fun and goofy brain rot stuff, right? I'm not going to say that doesn't exist with them, but even, and I've kind of talked about things about my daughter at the school. Like some kids wanted to do a walkout on the ice thing, like an ice walkout. And basically all the other kids were like, no, the fuck we ain't, and I'm seeing a lot more of this, the crazy liberal, like not all liberals are crazy and not all lefties are crazy, but the crazy liberal rhetoric, the stuff you see on TikTok, the stuff you see where it's like that crazy blue hair or wearing the pussy hats or whatever, all of the obscene stuff, you're seeing it, be canceled. Like they're not tolerating it anymore. And I think the last 10, 15 years, we were tolerating a lot of shit. And when you let one thing slide, then you're like, yeah, whatever, and then you let another sling slide and you let another, and then you let another. And then now we're at the point where my daughter's generation, they're like, no, that's stupid. We don't want that. And I'm seeing a lot of they're shutting shit down. They're calling it out. They're calling girls whores like straight to their face. They're not tolerating the bullshittery. They're not tolerating the furry shit. They're not tolerating the trans stuff. Now they may not all necessarily be religious, but they are moving in that direction. And I imagine by the time those teenagers are at least late 25, probably popping kids out, they're probably going to bank in on the religious aspect and go from there.
Unless they look into it with any, unless they look into it and they realize, oh shit, there's a lot of holes in.
That was a huge anecdote, Sarah. It was a very long.
I know.
anecdote.
I'm seeing a trend. Their age group
Like just
doesn't
because your
like
daughter and her friends behave a certain way doesn't mean you can extrapolate.
No.
It, like
No, but I
No,
agree.
but
There's a
like
trend.
their age group doesn't like sex on shows or TV or movies. They don't want it. And actually, you're seeing a lot of movies come out that they're not putting it in there anymore. It's very few. They're doing more like, oh, we shut the door and we leave it back there. Like you're seeing the trend make its way to because they're responding.
Sarah, what age group are we talking about? Teenagers?
Yeah, like 16.
Oh yeah,
I'd say 16 to 20.
I agree for sure. I have 3 teens, and definitely, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily religious. It's more of like anti-illusionary women with penises, that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
They're not like 3 masks are better than 2.
They're not tolerating the buffoonery now. And that's why I'm saying by the time I think that they hit like 25 or so and they start having kids, I think because they're going to see the traditionalist take of it, they'll probably make their way back to church inevitably.
You know what I think it is? And this is only because I kind of observe like my nephews. And I say, what's going on, in your circles and in the schools and stuff. And they say, well, these people are fucking nuts. They're crazy. And eventually what happens is they get enough of it. And they say, look, that shit ain't going to fly at my house. And then that's what they bring to the table. So they've watched it happen, what you're talking about, that slow degeneration. And then they finally step up and say, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. No, we're not doing that. This is the way the world works. And that's what I've seen from my nephews.
I mean, kids don't solidify their lasting beliefs until they're out from under their parents' wing. Like everyone I've ever known, as soon as they are following in their parents' lead. Most of them that are smart, who don't want to rub them the wrong way if they start to disagree. Because I was one of those kids, and I knew that I had to keep my mouth shut because I'm in my dad's house and I'm not going to disrespect him. But most people that I know, my kid as well, like he didn't solidify his beliefs until he was out of the house. Yeah. Until his beliefs didn't have a possibility of contradiction to his parents.
I would say
the same would be true if he went atheist, though. Anyone's going to form their own opinions of everything socially, spiritually, religious, politically when they're away from their parents. And before that, they're influenced by their environment. Of course, it's normal.
As long as they have consent.
Well, I was going to say, to my point earlier,
you no longer have consent to speak, Ben.
Codependency. I don't know of any people, grown folks, 30, 40 years old, who are fully out from underneath their parents' wings.
What?
So
really? I've been out of my parents since 17.
Hold on. When I say that, when your mom calls or your dad calls, what do? You pick up the phone, you say,
if I want to.
Thank you, Mom, for calling me. Yes, ma'am. Whatever you need. This is you, isn't it? No? You don't do what your mom tells you to do.
I wouldn't call I wouldn't call that being under their wing either. That's more of a
obedience.
Respect.
Disobedience. I'm not a child.
I wouldn't call it that either. If you pick up the phone, you pick up the phone.
No, you're moving the goalpost. You
hello. Is this thing on? Everybody can hear me. I know I have one rule here. Is it working? Hello? Okay. What I'm saying is it's not disobedience. It's not out of like, oh, I'm under my parents' wing. It's I care about my parents. I love them.
Of course.
And if they call me and need something or I need to help them, because as we get older, we hope that our children have enough benevolence for us to wipe our asses too. Right. So yeah. I wouldn't say it's out of like, I'm under their wing and I have to do it. It's I want to do it.
Yeah, I think the point, Clay, let me clarify. I think because I've been a parent since I was 26 years old. I didn't live in my parents' house since I was 17. And I started paying for my parents at the age of 29. I'm 46 years old. So of course I love my parents and listen, but I am a parent. I am an adult. And maybe it's my own personal thing, but yeah, of course I love and take their calls, but I'm not asking them for, hey, if my mom told me like, you're going to dump your girlfriend right now, like what? That hasn't happened since I was 14.
No, that's not what I'm referencing. So there's a word. There's a word, and the word is honor.
Yeah,
you honor your father and your mother.
Absolutely. So we all agree.
Right?
Yeah, but I don't take like I'm not under my parents' wing in the perspective of what you were describing.
No, the perspective.
Well, right now, no,
because you don't know the perspective I was describing. The perspective I'm describing is that you're going to honor them, meaning that when they call you, you're going to listen.
That's not what we're talking about.
And you're going to take into consideration what they're telling you. If they say to you, that woman, she's kind of sucky a little bit,
No, I listen.
You might take that into consideration more than anybody else in the world.
No,
well,
zero.
Not necessarily.
Here's a big difference, Clay. So, for instance, if I wanted and asked for my father's advice, he will give it. But otherwise, he will always say, like, Sarah, this is your life. I am here to help you. And if you want advice, I will give it, and I will give you the best advice I can. But if you're not asking for it, I won't give it, because you are a grown ass woman.
Right.
Right.
So
And
who else
there is a
could you
very
ask?
big difference. What's that?
Yeah. Who else would you ask other than your parents?
Your priests, somebody who your doctor
way.
would give you advice, depending on what you're doing.
No.
But
Balderson.
I would ask my mother or my father for advice before anyone else.
I'm too
my
old.
Jerry's.
Parents,
So like,
I give my parents advice. I'm too old for that shit. My
Yeah, me
parents-
too. I would listen to
downhill.
people who I want to be like and
right.
successful. Like
So
I love
for
my parents,
instance, my two brothers, very well in the financial realm of understanding how the shit works. And I go to them when I'm like, okay, with this is with the financial advisor, what should I do with this? What should I, they're very smart cookies, and they've both done very well successfully in that aspect. So I always go to them for that. Would I ask my mom that information? No. Would I ask my dad that information? He would have no idea. He would be like, I don't know. I asked my financial guy, right? Like he would be absolutely lost.
Right.
But if I need advice, like fatherly advice, or whatever from my dad, in terms of a relationship, hey, man, bad, man, good, something I don't know, tell me, I would call my dad. If I want to vent and just want somebody to listen, fucking call my mom. I love you, mama. Everybody say hi, mama. She's listening.
Hey, mama.
But she listens
mama.
and she soaks it in, and she lets me just rant it all out. And there's different people for different things. And you have to be wise enough. That's why when we grow older, we start gaining this knowledge. That's why we don't have to call our parents for every fucking problem. And then we start figuring
that's
that
good
out.
memory and good upbringing. So once you get that good advice, you take it off into the world. So there's a lot of pieces of advice that you've already retrieved from them that your brothers would not have given you for life, right? So when you call your brothers, it's because you've already got that advice that you needed from mom and dad. The first people you went to was mom and dad. Every single person on this panel.
So what happens?
I don't know, but there's sometimes.
Because I love where he's going, and every son should be like Clay.
Hold on,
true,
but
what
isn't there
happens if
sometimes
someone-
that you want? Oh, my bad.
What happens
I
if
love my
someone
dad.
didn't know their parents? What would you say if someone?
I mean, it
didn't know their
sucks for
parents?
them. It sucks.
Yeah, that
it
would
sucks.
suck.
It's an experience that they unfortunately never had. And I would say that if you talk to those people, you will find out that they will tell you, most of them, not all of them, but most of them will say that it sucks because they would have wanted that relationship. They would have wanted to be able to ask dad.
Yeah, but isn't there some people that prefer to go to like a brother and sister than the parent?
Yeah, and like
grandparent.
I was saying, it's so you would go to your brother or your sister about certain things that are sibling advice, sort of thing, right?
Grandparents.
But
It don't have to even be sibling advice. It could be just advice in general.
What I'm
I
saying
think Clay's,
is, so when you're
Clay's
born,
point overall is family unit, and I think he's collectively saying family structure, grandparents. I think he's making a case for
That's
family is
exactly
family.
what I'm
I think ultimately, and
Yeah.
I agree, because you could
Yeah,
have
I
like an
think we all
alcoholic
just want the
mother
same.
who gives you nothing but love, but would give you the worst like advice on anything other than that, but maybe her only role was unconditional love, right? And that's the most valuable thing in the world at many times in life, right? And then there's
it's
someone,
the original structure. Okay, so we can come up with all these different governmental structures that we've had throughout history, but the original structure provided was the family structure: mom, dad, children, and then of course, when children have children, it'd be grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, children, and there's a structure there. And so, yeah, we have a structure in government. And yeah, we got these, communisto ideas, these capitalistic ideas. It's great that we can maybe play with the world the way it is. It's very physical. It's a very physical world. But when we're talking about ideals, the original structure, that's the only real structure. And look, here's the thing. I don't have probably the greatest relationship with my parents that some people have, right? But I do have one, which is nice.
all right. I mean, I think we all agree that parents are good, and if you have good ones, and you're blessed, and either way, they brought you in here, so you should give them blessings when you think about them, right?
You know what? It's the only mama you'll ever get is mama.
Unless you think God is a woman, and then you have God the mother.
It's super interesting how much blowback Clay got on this subject.
It is.
But no, because you started. I think when you have kids,
you got blowback on this subject.
Nah, I think he's talking about me because the thing is, I have 2 boys and 2 girls, right? I have 4, and so like my mother like filled a certain role, but like you can't. I don't know who has daughters, but when you have like daughters, like the love when your daughter gives you, and then as they get older, they say like a son is a son, but one day his son becomes a man, but a daughter will always be a daughter.
Son is a son until he takes his wife. A daughter's a daughter for the rest of your life.
I like that.
And actually,
and it's amazing. It's amazing because like when I introduce my daughters to circumstances and situations, like and like you know, they'll tell me or I'll ask them. And they're watching, you know what I mean? Better than my mother, because my mother was try to like, I hope that she likes me, but my daughters are like, let's see who this bitch is. You know what I mean? It's a different game, right? Because they love their father. So I don't know. It's interesting because, and my son, I'll call my son if I'm confused on something. He's 19. I'll call him and ask him because it's interesting. But of course, I do agree with you, Clay. So that a father is a father and a mother's a mother.
Yeah, the most important thing on the planet
is one point.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, parents I think are all valuable and have a difficult job, but there's also there's children who abuse their parents, and there's parents who abuse their kids even accidentally. That's just the nature of what it's like when you live in a place like the U.S., right?
I think that's just human nature.
You know, yeah, and so the only thing I wanted to temper is like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of good Christians here and stuff. So go to church with your parents. Remember to go back, ask your parents the question that your pastor didn't or cannot answer, and then at the same time, do your own moral judgments. Right? You're not going to find a situation everywhere where your belief in God is there, or just a God has an interest, when you bump into someone while you're shopping and they get so upset about it. Oh, it's like boo-hoo,
you go to church, Doc?
I always forget what I was talking about, but
do you go to church, Doc?
That's good, Doc.
I used to be Catholic. Yeah, I used to altar serve. I went to Catholic school, so I would go to mass.
Do you go to church? Answer the question.
What?
Do you currently go to church? The answer is no.
Go to church. No, I don't.
Then how the fuck are you coming up here and preaching about, go to church with your family and all this other shit? Shut up.
Well, Christians need a Buddhist or an atheist to tell you what your religion books mean.
And they also need to give you consent.
See, I told you about that. He's right.
They also need you to give consent to have children, and an atheist believes that the children need to have consent to even have them. Shut up.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that there's no. I mean, if you want to talk about having kids, right? To me, because I am a Buddhist atheist, if you want to find meaning in it, that's great. But also, there's a great biological processes. There's scientific descriptions that maybe you don't use right away to figure out what it means, but it's also probably not a bad idea to know some of that stuff, to have that stuff running through you, to place yourself inside and outside of that. It's the same thing. And so, yeah, I mean, if I had my, just to be totally honest, since you asked, if I had my laurels, I don't think anyone should be a Christian ever, right?
What?
Yeah, it's just, why?
Here comes the stupid.
No, sorry, continue. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. I think Christianity is an exploitative religion. I think Abrahamic religions are incapable of describing what a God might be like. They cannot compensate for a universe which is both digital and quantum. Right? There's digital objects, there's quantum objects, and there's physical objects, and then there's meaning and psychology we ascribe to them.
Okay, so
doesn't give a fuck about that.
Duck just talked over their heads.
Balderson,
yeah. Duck just went out. Duck did it right there. Watch now. Watch. Go ahead. Respond to
you
Duck.
mixed like 3 different subjects, but you definitely went over their heads.
Go ahead.
Exactly. That's how I want him to continue, because he was missing 2 different. All right, my bad.
Buddhism and Christianity are contradictory.
You think?
But I'm an I what did you call yourself, Duck? I'm sorry.
I said I'm a
Buddhist atheist.
I'm a Buddhist atheist. So you can catch me being either though. You truly could catch me being either of those things.
So you
There
are
are-
so
There are Buddhist atheists.
so you are confused.
Yeah.
Buddhism doesn't have any gods, depending
Yeah,
on the
if
sect
I'm
of
reading
Buddhism you're following.
Schopenhauer, I can be confused.
Well,
Buddhism
wait,
doesn't need to not
didn't
have
this
a god.
motherfucker just
either.
say you can catch me either being one or the other? That sounds like
Yes.
another ideology.
No, he said the two are not mutually exclusive. He's both
Yeah.
a Buddhist and an
Because
atheist,
there are
so
things.
he can answer
No, this is
questions
what
for
I was
both.
saying though. Is there are things I'm not confused about, right? I've been practicing my religion now for 4 years. I've been studying science and philosophy for about 6 years after a college degree, where I fucked around a bunch.
Indoctrinated.
Yeah,
And you
so,
did all
okay,
that,
this is
and
the
you're
bullshit.
still
This is always
mixed,
the bullshit,
muffled, and mingled.
Whatever.
You're still all over the place. We love you, Duck. Let me get through a couple super chats. Then I'm gonna start moving us over to the gauntlet. MC Nemesis, I don't know who the fuck you are. You connected last time you were here,
Oh,
but
boy.
you need to cam up backstage if you want to. Does anybody know who that is?
Yes, I do. Wild child at times.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, thank you. Yeah, I disconnected you last time because you were just connected and then you left the thing. So, all right. Chi-Town hanging out over on the Twitch side sent in a buy me a coffee dono and says, who are you to decide who's been converted and who has not? I can't judge a person's morality based upon my standard as opposed to another's religious standard. As long as they are not harming other people, leave them alone. As far as the money thing, they don't tell you how to spend your money at the slots. Don't tell the faithful how to spend their money. And I would say I think that was referring to kind of my opening thought process on this topic. And I'll defend it because I think that people are taking advantage of people's faith and utilizing that as a tool to harness their money. And now, yes, I can't stop somebody from going into the gambling casinos and spending their money in there. I can't stop anybody from wasting their money on lottery tickets or things like that. But I think when you guide people to believe in something and believe that giving them your money is a good thing, that's where you mess up. MC, look, listen, you're not going to keep coming in and tagging connecting your channel back here and then leaving. Like, that's horse buffoonery.
Sarah, is that the guy who came last time who called me gay and then I called him an F and then we shut it all down?
No,
Yeah,
I don't even know this guy, but he keeps connecting on the dual streaming, which is fine.
Let's not mention the slurs as well in the back.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
he goes heavy in the slurs. I'll grant you that.
Oh, well, then I should just ban him next time he pops in. Don't
So-
pop in, MC.
Sarah, to go on your point, as far as like grifting in religion, let's not forget that the entire Protestant Reformation, one of the main reasons that happened was because of the act of indulgences in the Catholic Church. Was the priests basically saying, you pay me money and therefore you will get some kind of religious benefit from it. So there's a long history in Christianity itself of having problems with the idea of pay to play or using money or religion to grift money out of poor people.
Speaking of grifting, Calvin said, I would love to hear T-Jump's religious take. I don't know if I want to even bring that man's name up right now. Tom Gardner
We don't
said,
have consent. We don't have consent for that, Tom.
That's it's called a love offering, crack baby. Yes, send all your love offerings. And I haven't even put a dono goal again on you guys after you hit the last one because you've been so plentiful in giving. So thank you so much. And I am going to kick off the gauntlet here in just a second. So be prepared for that. Jack Talcott in with the big 5 says, thank you for the hospitality and welcome, Sarah. Leaving my blessings to the panel, chat, and viewers, and hope the space returns. Saint, he was giving his seat back for you, but you weren't in the backstage anymore. And then wait, who did leave? Somebody.
Sasquatch. Sasquatch
okay.
had to go.
He said bye. He said bye.
Oh, okay.
He said, peace out.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep.
Oh, I love Sasquatch. James, member for 16 months, as being conservative is the new counterculture, the new hippies. The left is the establishment now in a bunch of squares. That's a fair
Facts.
assessment. It's
Oh,
like
James,
it's cool.
I so
It's
love
like it's
you.
cool to be conservative. I will say, I think Charlie Kirk had a big kick in that, especially with the youth going in that direction. He had a very big influence on people. Like if my daughter knows your
Don't
name
do it,
and knows who
Omar.
you are, you're influential. That's how I view it. Because 16 to 20, I think it's 16 to 22 is like if you want to bring somebody in so that they'll carry you over into their older age when they actually do have money and can spend it on you, 16 to 22 is the age to do it. A lot of focus groups done on that target audience. Carpenter Tom says, just because I can, membership, baby. Yes, 5 months a member, but also member for 1 month. I could do it here too. Oh, did you do it on whose side are you? Is this on Ben's side? I think this is on Ben's side. Aw.
Thank you very much, Tom.
I could do it here too. Love that. And I do have Ant hanging out backstage. If you want to see a panel shakeup, he has made his way backstage. In the meantime, I'm going to hand the floor back to you guys. In the meantime, I'm going to be starting up the gauntlet, and we'll move over there shortly.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
I
Back to you.
wanted to just say, you mentioned the Protestant Reformation. You understand that the Protestant Reformation was an internal critique that was done to counteract the Borgia Pope, Pope Alexander Sixtus, and all the bullshit he created as the Pope, right? So he was the Pope of Rome who created, how are we going to raise more money? I got an idea. Let's start taking money to absolve people of sins. And after he left the office, the Protestant Reformation started from within the Catholic Church, from the bottom all the way to the top into like 1515. So that's like less than 10 years after the Borgia Pope died. So you can't give someone credit for cleaning up their own mess, is what I'm trying to say. It was not some outside thing that came in and changed the church. Like the church was corrupt, they became more corrupt, and then they changed a little bit of the corruption. It's like saying, hey, we're going to let 15 million immigrants, and then Trump's like, oh, only 2 million came in this year. We're 87% better. Yeah, then fucking 100%. Yeah, sure. But it's still 87% more than zero.
I'm not
Was that
quite
for
sure what your
FNG?
gripe. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what your gripe is as regard to. I said most people regard the sale of indulgences as one of the things that helped spark the Protestant Reformation.
Yeah, except the Catholic Church created the sale of indulgences, and
Sure,
the
I went
entire
no
thing
further into it. I just made that statement.
Yeah. I get. Well,
We were
the
talking about
beginning of
grifting.
Well, okay, grifting on point though. I was bringing up the subject in complete contingency with the entire subject since the beginning of this live stream.
So you
I'm
both
just
agree-
I'm just tracking, but yeah, I'm sure Effigy and I completely agree on the situation. I'm just saying that they created the situation and then they cleaned it up, and then like we think that like they cleaned their own house somewhat, but they created like 100% mess and then cleaned up like 10% of it and thought they were supposed to win an award that
By
they give
they, do you mean
themselves.
all Christians or
No,
the Catholic Church specifically?
the Catholic Church specifically, like very specifically. But we were at the beginning, Effigy. At the beginning, we were talking about the Catholic Church, Mecca, and the Saudis as the stable of Islam, and so we were talking about big box religion and what they do and don't do for the flock, so to speak. So I was just tracking from the beginning. You may not have.
How much would you think that? How much would you think that paying to play for sins derived out of like things like Dante's Inferno, where you start seeing and I will maintain that this is heavy even today, where most people, their religion, a lot of their religious ideas come directly from media, whether it's plays, TV, entertainment books, and Dante's Inferno really heavily sits on that, where you commit certain sins and then you go, well, in the book itself, there's actually a hell, and then there's a purgatory area. And each one of those has 7 layers.
Yeah.
The hell, there's no getting out of.
I was about to say you can't have indulgences without purgatory. Like that was the
yeah. So purgatory is where the indulgences are. And then in the book, through it, as you pass through purgatory, the letters that are stamped on there's letters stamped on your head depicting which particular not quite deadly sin, but purgatory sin that you committed. And you can get those lifted off, which includes prayers and paying for you and things like that. And all that's lifted from playwrights, Dante's Inferno being the divine comedy.
You want to hear something really wild? None of that at all has anything to do with what the original Christians actually believed. Because the original Christians were small hats. They were small hats. And small hats didn't believe in all that bullshit. They believed that they were like half and half, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Some believed that there would be a resurrection. The other believed that you just died. That's it.
But
depends on what you mean by Christian, though.
Right.
It wasn't a
Christians of the
resurrection.
first 300 years were wildly different in beliefs. Some of them believed that Christ was only a cosmic figure and never even existed.
Yep.
Would anybody?
And you have the
agree that
Gnostics in
purgatory?
the first century.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the Gnostics.
But we're talking about small hats, not all these other cultures. Small hats specifically.
Point of clarification, Clay. When you say small hats, what do you mean?
That would be the
Shriners.
Judeo.
Shriners, man.
The Druish people.
Historically Judeo national group.
Dang, they got you stuttering so bad.
Judeo-Christian.
Get it out, boy.
And when you go through the history of it, right, and you really look at who they were, and you actually take into context the Hebrew and Aramaic scriptures and not the Greek. So get rid of all of that Greek stuff. You realize that this was a historically a historic people that had a set of beliefs, that had a set of laws. They were a nation.
People, huh?
I mean,
They existed.
And allow me to interrupt for just a moment. We're going to be heading over to the Gauntlet. So if you're watching over on the Raging Tomatoes side, I am shutting that down now. It should automatically rage you over. Otherwise, I've dropped the link into the chat. Head over there now. We'll catch you on the other side. All right. And this would actually be a good time to start maneuvering into the next topic. I will leave it to Ben to decide if you'd like fake space or repeal the 19th.
There is a question that my chat has.
I'll wait with fake space for Ant to come up.
Anybody fucking hear me?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Spin.
No,
Did you hear something, guys? I
didn't hear anything.
I just heard Will's going.
Go ahead, Spin. We can hear you. We were able to hear you.
No,
we left.
Oh, we lost him. I'll give him a chance to get back in.
And come back. You can blame me on
Baby, come back.
Back, baby.
All right, so we'll hold fake space. We'll hold fake space for Ant. So that means repealing the 19th. Now, if you guys were able to watch the short that I uploaded today as a pre-show, you'll see that the man had said women are irresponsible voters, therefore they should not be allowed to vote. So the question that I pose is, just because somebody is an irresponsible voter, or at least you believe they're voting incorrectly, should you remove their ability to vote? All right. Any questions before we let everyone round robin it on or clarifications?
No.
No? All right. Well, I will hand it off to Crack Baby. Are you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Give me your thoughts, sir.
She can go to somebody else. I'd rather have somebody else's opinion first. I'll be honest.
Sure. We'll make you last. Clay, go ahead.
I like the 14th Amendment. So because we have the 14th, the 19th.
14th or 19th?
Hold on. I like the 14th Amendment. So because we have the 14th Amendment, the 19th Amendment came about. Because women and people of color and things like that people were just not being allowed to vote. So if you're not being allowed to vote, it's not only a 19th Amendment violation if you happen to be a woman, but it also happens to be a 14th Amendment violation. So I like the 14th Amendment. That's
Can you tell
Okay.
us what the 14th is? For reference?
Yeah, it's discrimination based on sex, religion,
No,
creed, nationality. Yeah, that's the 14th.
Okay, we'll
Go
leave it
ahead,
there.
Zach.
citizenship and equal due process, I think.
14th Amendment covers a lot.
Yes, it covers the same thing.
You hear? Did you hear? Did anyone hear anything?
Poor Spin. All right, I want to give a quick shout out because this is the big membership that Tom got in the chat. He got the king. Oh, you actually made him believe.
Stop.
Shaman,
Stop! I fucking strike.
I'm gonna knock you out.
I told you it's called full
yeah.
mind control. Full means full.
Oh my God, Tom Carpenter getting his king membership over here at the Gauntlet. That's an amazing person right there. You will all bowed to your king in the chat.
Another word for full is complete.
Ain't happening.
Tomatoes
I bow
for
to no
you.
man. I bow to no man.
Me either.
All right. While Spin is doing his thing, Chuck, to you, sir. Your thoughts.
You know, it's like the old case of Pandora's box. You can't open the box and let everything out and then try to shove it back in. You know,
Ooh.
everybody should be allowed to express their opinion through a vote because they are people too, last time I checked, and they being women. I could say the same thing about men, certain groups of men that I don't like the way they vote. I think they're retarded the way they vote. But does that mean I can exclude them? No, then you end up with an echo chamber. And everybody loses with an echo chamber. So I say keep it.
Okay.
Then you have it.
All right. Calvin, to you, please. Your thoughts.
Yeah, my disposition is a simple one. If these individuals, if these citizens are going to be subject to the rules and the laws that are created, then they have to have a say-so in that, no matter how much you dislike them, how much you think they're foolish, or whatever the case may be. If you're creating a law that I'm going to have to abide by, then I should have to have a say-so in that law. So that's how I see it.
That's a good way to look at it. All right. I like it. Mr. FG.
Yeah, I'm a believer in democracy, so I believe everyone should have their vote and they can do with it what they will. That includes not voting. And if you don't have a problem with someone not voting, then I can't see why you have a problem with someone voting for whoever they want.
Exactly.
I think any argument you can levy at women on how they're going to use their vote is just as guilty at looking at another man and how they use their vote. I think for 50% of the population at any given time, they think the other 50% uses their vote in a pretty shitty way. I think having that vote is so important, but I'm not going to force you to use it any way that I feel you have to. I feel any use of your vote, like I said, including not voting, is valid, even if you want to just vote for the guy who has the bluest eyes, you know. I would encourage everyone to use that vote no matter what the reason is. It's very important no matter what anyone says, especially in local elections. Votes can come down to just tens of votes. Your vote can really, really matter.
Did you take care of the McNemesis back there already, Sarah?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, he's been gone.
Okay, because he was dropping some nasties back there. That's the only reason. Okay.
When he pops back in, I'm actually just gonna block him completely because I like nobody cares about your Spotify account, dude. Nobody cares that you're a rapper. Like,
I was talking about the other comments.
I know that, but I was already
what you're talking about.
I was already gonna block him based off his like he kept jumping on and then tapping into the dual stream and then leaving, which didn't make. I realized it later, earlier that he was just like getting views off of, I don't know, like trying to, I don't even know.
Trying
Wasn't
to.
even here and was connected in.
Why don't you bring him here to
Um,
rap and see if he's good? And if not, we roast the shit out of him.
Actually,
Ooh.
that isn't a bad idea. Actually.
Take my word for it, bad idea.
No, he
Or
does
me-
other things. It's not just the words.
Or me or
it's
Crack Baby destroy him
shows.
at a freestyle
He
battle.
puts on shows.
You know what? I can't rap, but I'm pretty sure I could beat him.
Well, I was stereotyping. I was hoping, but then fucking I'll do it. Bring him on.
As in, like,
Fair enough.
Right, what's up?
Yeah, well, Clay,
Rap
we're
battle.
getting warning here that he does bad things that shouldn't happen on a show, so that's fair.
Yep.
So Calvin went. Effigy, you just went, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna give Spin like 2 more minutes to get back in here, and then if he doesn't make it, then I'll bring up the next person in line. Backstage, I do have Ant, Joe Cool, Wolf, and Simon Hectic. Waiting patiently. Spin he's been here since the beginning. He has the no boot immunity, so I want to at least give him an opportunity. I know he's been having tech issues all night. All right, go ahead, Duck.
So we're doing the 19th Amendment, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing him on Messenger.
Hold on to your chair.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just checking, but yeah. I mean, it's difficult, right? My opinion would be it would have been nice to include in the 19th Amendment universal suffrage. And the reason being is that I don't think that's controversial or even close to judicial activism, is that it's a political process, right? And so when we talk about citizens having access to a political process, to me, it seems like there should be an overwhelming reason, especially relating to voting, why the 19th Amendment only covered sex, and left so many gaps and loopholes. I think if I could offer a more foundational opinion, I think it is also very important. It's important that in a democracy, citizens are aware of when you have expediency versus a limited government taking precedence, right? So people don't want women to vote. They don't want blacks or coloreds to vote for economic reasons, for reasons of urbanization, for reasons of rural development. And so kind of taken as a whole, like these are issues that played out in many places in our society. And so saying that there should have been a more robust conversation, and also making the case that there were probably plenty of important stories in urban centers, like places like maybe New York, places further in the West that maybe didn't have the same sort of conservative values that the United States had at that time. Those are also very important conversations that probably could have been had better in the 1920s, 1910s. But at the end of the day, I think there's a really rich body of case law that led to strong voter protection that keeps that sort of wobbly foundation. It's kind of a form of idiocy, but whatever. I think it would be worth reading both the congressional debates as well as case law that exists around the 19th Amendment and other voting laws that the United States has passed. And yeah, in the present context, the idea that Trump says that we don't have voting right now, it's like, well, this is just another thing, no birthright citizenship, voter ID laws, all this bullshit. It's like, well, this is just another thing that should be inconsiderable. It's not the same as bombing a school in Iran and asking for $1 trillion for it because you killed a bunch of fucking kids. But it's pretty bad.
Perfect. Thank you, Doc. That was probably the most well thought thing you've ever said here.
Maybe in my life, Sarah. Not pretty close. I hope. But
Keep
I
up
just
the
wanted
good
to
work.
point that out. I'm proud of you. Mr. Balderson, to you, please.
Personally, and it's not because of the way they vote particularly, but because most things run about 50-50, no matter how you slice it. But I would repeal both the 19th and the 15th. I would not have either of them. I don't think most people, men or women, have the capacity to make those kind of decisions. I think they're horribly uninformed and irresponsible. I think in California, that every time that there's a vote, they come down here and they pick up all the homeless, all the junkies. They take them all down and get them a nice shower, get them a nice meal, and then they go get them to vote for some of the dumbest shit you've ever imagined. And they tell them what the good things are to vote, because these people are so fucking high and so batshit out of it. They like walk around and air punch at things and do all kinds of wild shit. Democracy, in my opinion, altogether is one of the worst systems of governance I could possibly imagine. That's called mob rule. And the mob never been known to be smart.
Okay. Well, if you're going to repeal the 19th, then what would you put instead? Like a property laws and some type of other IQ level?
Definitely, I think it would have to be at this point. Property laws, I think, were a real good way back then. I don't necessarily know that that's the way to do it now. You would definitely have to have an intelligence test. I mean, most Americans couldn't pass. Most people born in America could not pass the naturalization test. Like, that's pathetic and sad. When you can't even pass what they expect somebody wanting to become part of our country to know, and you don't fucking know it, and you were born here. That's pathetic.
Aren't they putting math? Aren't they putting math problems on it now, or it's going to be different, or what? I heard it's going to get real hard.
It was already a pretty stiff test. They don't mess around, and it's a pretty stiff test. And so there would have to be some test applied, and then I think some type of servitude to the country. I think you need to be of service. Anybody that wants to make decisions should also understand the service to the people that they're making decisions for.
I like that. I do like that a lot. And that's even politicians. It used to be a service to go and be a representative. It used to be like almost like a volunteer position to go to Congress and help go through this stuff.
Yeah.
Was it not? Am I wrong?
They're supposed to do that and then go back to the regular job.
Because it used to just be whoever did the least in office got a
their paycheck is called a compensation for a reason. So when they are voting to have their paychecks increased, they're not voting for a paycheck. They're voting for a compensation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
which means that they're serving.
Like they still could have their farms or be lawyers or be clerks or whatever, but then they would go when they needed to go do whatever they had to do, and then they come back home.
But yeah, you volunteer your time.
Yeah, it was considered like a service.
You don't need a compensation.
Well, it was like it was your service to your community in your state or whatever. Shaman, I'll hand it over to you, sir.
Wow, that was amazing. These are some great thoughts. Okay, voting. Well, here's the thing. You have voting. You had slavery that ended like 1865, right? And then you had black males could vote 1870, like 5 years later. It wasn't until 1920 that women got the right to vote, right? So I'm not saying that I'm going to spend my time doing this, but someone could easily just go look at a case study of America and see how was the America between 1870 and 1920, and then from 1920 to now, and see which was a better America if they wanted to make the case. Either way. Oh, well, whatever, dude. I don't care enough about that. But I will say that it does. No, I don't think that women shouldn't have the right to vote. But I will say for sure that as a man and an American, seeing Hillary Clinton up there with her fucking suit going, well, and then, Kamala Harris talking shit. Meanwhile, like, I think that I agree with Balderson that 100% America is losing America, and we should have mandatory service. And maybe that's not necessarily military, but it needs to be some sort of civil service within the American borders. And for men, it should be 100% mandatory for military, for sure. I also agree that to vote, you should have to give a shit about America, and some form of a test would work. I don't think that anyone who's not potentially going to, or at any point in their life have the ability to serve in war, should be able to vote for things like that. So there should be some, there was an original way America was formed, that the legislature of the states were formed by land-owning males. And so therefore those land-owning males were able to vote because every single one of them combined collectively made up the state, right? And there's
Well,
something
some
to
of those even had some states even had a religious caveat to that too, like
that's
no
where it gets
Catholics,
tricky.
only
Yeah,
Catholics. Yeah.
that's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets tricky. But you know,
Yeah, but don't
to-
evoke
to-
the founders and then talk about compulsory military service, dude. Like seriously.
Okay, I'm just
Come
talking
on.
about my idea. Well, okay, I can shit on the founders or give them credit in lots of things. I'm not necessarily. We can go into any subject. It's fine. I'm just saying personally, I do, as a person who loves America, I will say that my American like love came from my father's like commitment to like where he's from, right? So I mean, what made me like a super American was how super Afghan. I mean, this fucking guy didn't even become an American citizen, so he was here for like 42 years. That's how nationalistic he was and where he came from. And me, I have Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. I've got Rambo, I've got Rocky, and we have America. We have McDonald's and we have Burger King and we have fucking Ford Mustangs, you know? So
McDonald's
you know,
is gross.
I know, but when you're a kid,
Ain't bad
come on,
for you.
guys. McDonald's and Chuck E. Cheese birthday party when you're a child. Is there such a thing better?
Bro, I literally had a Circle K sandwich because we were at a McDonald's that had a Circle K, and I did not want McDonald's today.
You're an adult. If you're a kid, if you get a McDonald's
is
birthday
gross.
party, as a child in the 80s, if you have a McDonald's birthday party, you're one of two things: rich or the luckiest kid on earth. I mean, that's what I saw, and I never had one. So, you know, although I will say for my birthday just last week, I took my 1-year-old son to Chuck E. Cheese, just me and him. All right, that's America. That's America.
Aw.
Did you
and-
actually
and-
try the cardboard pizza at the Chuck E. Cheese though? You're like,
Ah.
gee,
You know what, though?
$200.
We
I
went
should at least
to-
get a decent pizza.
We went to
I
a Chuck E. Cheese a
did.
couple of years ago, and for somebody like some other kid had a birthday, so we went, and I was like, I'm like, the last thing I want is to be in a room full of children, especially with lots of yelling things and bouncy balls. But the pizza actually wasn't that bad, and they got salads and they upped it. They took it up, and they have like full salads, wraps, everything for all the moms that want to wear yoga pants and stay skinny. Wrap up your thought, Shaman, and I'll hand it over to Spin.
No, I'm just saying I think you can't repeal, like, an American citizen should have the right to vote, but I'm just saying it irks me to see, like, you know, these like, you know, the like Hillary Clinton's, the idea that Hillary Clinton is going to be able to lead a revolution and tell us who the fuck is going to go fight in the war drives me crazy. So maybe the part, I don't know. Pete Hegseth is a jerk off for sure, but I would rather have someone that at least looks like, you know, the idea that Kamala Harris is going to go over somewhere and talk shit on behalf of America just drives me fucking crazy. But of course, I still think she
Just
should have
'cause
the
they're
right
women.
to vote.
That's it. Like, that's it.
Pertaining to war, yes, I think I made that very clear. I could specify. Women talking shit on behalf of America in war, I'm just not a fan of. We need someone like the Macho Man talking shit.
You know, if you want to be a real American, you can go ghetto Chuck E. Cheese and just go to CC's.
I was in Hallelujah, so if you
Oh.
just Google Hallelujah, that was the hood. I didn't go to Aventura filled with little hats. I went to Hallelujah, the real shit, and we had a blast.
I don't
Fair
think
enough.
Farmer can have some war right
Spin
now.
wants to pass on his turn on this commentary. Everybody had a chance to talk, right?
Hate or
Okay.
dislike?
Spin. Hold on. Spin. If you bypass this, I'm gonna have any respect I have. This is exactly your opportunity to say the real shit. You say you're pro-America. You talk shit about white supremacy. Drop your bombs. Don't be a coward.
All right. Well, while he think what you want to think, I concluded my thoughts already.
You got to stay here for this because hopefully he shows his true racism.
Well,
It's-
let me get through
Okay.
the super chats before y'all go crazy on each other. Sarcastic Saint says repeal the 19th so Sarah can never speak again. Saint's gonna be really sad one day when I am not streaming anymore and he doesn't have anyone else to listen to his stupid jokes. I love you, Saint, you little shit. Saint says, Doc, dun dun dun. You have two choices here. One, you can serenade Clay for 5 minutes by telling him how sexy he is, or you can serenade Ben Balderson by telling him how sexy his baldness is. Do it on cam or get the boot. Would you like your 5 minutes in heaven with either of the gentlemen? If not, I will boot you to the back and we'll bring up our next contender. Are you
Clay's
muted?
kind
I
of
think you're
sexy.
muted.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, I would just like to bring up before we do this, I'd like to bring up that I thought $10 was 2 minutes on the Tomato Show, but I'm happy to take all 5, and I'll pick Clay. I'll pick Clay for this one.
Ooh,
He is a sexy
time.
boy.
We're
Clay,
going
Clay,
Bruce.
Clay, are you
Yes.
good with that, brother? Are you good with it, brother?
Yeah, us spirits got to
yeah.
stick together, Brody. If you'd have picked Balderson, I would have been cool
Aw.
with it. But you would have had to talk to his baldness.
Clay
And
loves it.
You know what? The beards, we got to stick together, Brody. Yep,
All right.
go for it.
Okay, so there are many artifacts in museums all over Europe and the United States of the African fertility gods. And so I just want to mention that these are called totems or impressas. They don't actually impress us. And so what you've impressed upon me is that not only is, some people would say a giant clunker, with two of the pumpkins hanging down is one of the big old things that guys look out for first and foremost. Guys like us, we don't skip the topic. And so I think everybody in chat knows what's going on. And I also think that the religions of the world, I'm a Buddhist atheist, so everybody has to have their own hero, even heroes. And so when it comes to African fertility gods, they are no Clay. I am no African fertility god, and so that places you above me in that sense, Clay. Secondly, I would say your intellectual heroics and your ability to withstand the pressure of the Tomato Show is something that I would imagine a woman wants. I would imagine it would be a woman who identifies as monogamous and bisexual, transsexual, polyamorous, as well as traditional heterosexual, monogamous, as well as heterosexual, open relationship. And so, I think this points to our common humanity. And Clay, when you demonstrate that, not only is it sexy, not only does it have a beard, but it's also something that, again, impresses upon all of us that, chat, you are not Clay. I am not Clay. Sarah's not Clay. No one here is Clay. The third great point I would make is, obviously OnlyFans, Fansly, Cam Up, all these different websites. The one that's banned in Arizona, I won't say it for the algorithm reasons, of course, but there's some things that are enduring that make everything else obsolete. And so when I picture the world watching the Tomato Show, I'm a big fan. I was a member until I lost all my money. I'm in the gutter right now. And so, Clay, it's very easy for someone to say that, there's something that can interrupt us in our day and leave an impression, change our point of view. And just the iconography of Clay, the sex appeal of it is so pronounced and profound. It's almost unhealthy. It's one of these things where, you almost create a trade-off that exists. And when you place that back into the optionality, when you move that back to our animal ancestors, put it again, African fertility, Clay, put it all together. One of the things is that when guys like us crank down on it, I don't even think about you because I think that you are beyond my capabilities. I identify as queer heterosexual, so I don't typically crank down to dudes. But if I were to crank down to a dudes, I also think chat knows, Gibbs, a great example, compared Admiral Gibbs next to Clay. I'm going to go with the Clay in that case. Guys like us kind of accept those types of things, and we move on, right? We move on. There's not a description that supersedes that. Secondly, thirdly, fourthly, fifthly, sixthly, seventhly, eighthly, what the actual reality of it is.
Breathe for just a second, Doc, just for a second. Harmon, you said to switch out Joe Cool for the Hoodie Guy. Hoodie Guy is Ben Balderson, and he is currently on no boot tonight because our original panelists who started backstage have immunity for the evening. You can pick out of the mix. You can pick Calvin, Effigy, Clay, Crack Baby, Chuck, or no, you can't pick Spin. But that's your option. So tell me in the chat who you want to pick, or I'll let somebody else pick. I'll let you guys.
All right. And so when we put it all together, firstly, secondly, sexy stuff, Clay. I think chat, the guys out there, guys on panel, I think everybody thinks about the iconography, what overcomes and supersedes what itself is both acting as well as in the household, those things that just like randomly occurring sex and stuff, as well as I would include in that college hookups. I would include bar hookups, one night stands. I would include hotel, femdom play. I would include mistresses. I would include cuckolding and accepted cheating in relationships. I think all those things themselves could be fit into one small space. And the play, Clay, I think the play for you is to just do exactly what you're doing here. Let other people be the ones that are cranking it down on a mattress. Let other people be the ones that have their sip of Coke and get right back to it, right? This isn't about using street drugs like crocodile and psychedelics and then going out and, making the whoopee time. It's not about being funny. It's not about humorous things. It's not about thinning out the actual impact you've had on the sex sphere. Just in light of Myron Gaines, Charlie Kirk, Andrew Tate, I would include Andrew Wilson, Speakeasy, the guys we know, and this is one of the things, Clay, is Admiral Gibbs doesn't put himself exactly in that circle, and you certainly are not exactly in that circle. That's why your dick's so huge.
I gotta give you a lot of credit, Duck. And here's what I'm gonna do,
That's on the
Duck,
ending.
because that was so fucking impressive. Okay, because you owned this chat. You owned every second of it. Literally didn't stop. You straight up told Clay every reason why he's sexy. And not only did you just say, because I like your hair, like, no, you went into this whole monologue. Like, you started with the museums and all this stuff. I am giving Duck a free credit to use as a non-boot. So if somebody tries to boot you, Duck, you have one free credit because that was fucking impressive. Sir, yes.
Thank you, Duck.
Round of applause
Duck,
for
you
Duck.
killed that, Duck. You killed that.
Thank you, Sam.
That was beautiful.
Thank you, Doug.
Dude,
I
Thank you,
won't
Sarah.
be surprised
Thank
if
you.
Doc and Clay are on a date next weekend.
Everybody,
If
where's Kev when we need him? Kev, everybody get him.
If Clay was smart,
I need a fucking
Thank you.
drink.
No, that
and
was
a
great.
bong
That was
hit after that
absolutely
bullshit.
wonderful, Doc.
well, yeah, Clay is going to give. Now, can we give 2
And-
minutes for Clay to give his gratitude?
I was
The
gonna
only
say,
other-
I was actually gonna say, Clay, thank you for sitting there and taking it like a bitch, right? In a good way, and
Yep.
being a willing volunteer for Duck to do every portion of. I mean, I'm so impressed, Duck. I'm so impressed with you because you did that for me, and I think that is beautiful. I mean, you did that so you could stay on board,
It was
but
for me too.
Where's Kev at?
I'm
No,
feeling
it was
bad,
awesome.
man.
That was
It was-
fucking impressive. All right. We got Joe Cool up here, which is exciting for me because I know Joe Cool's got a lot to say about amendments. But
Is
before
that
we
the
kick,
real one?
That's
God, I
supposed
hope
to.
so.
Wait, y'all can't hear me?
Okay, that's him. That's him. That's
It
him.
is him.
We just need that laugh.
Brad Drescher
Let me-
laugh if you wanted to verify Joe Cool.
Right.
And Harmon sent in the $10 cash app to boot. He wanted to bring up Joe Cool. Crack Baby Go was the ultimate sacrifice there. So thank you to you, Crack Baby Go, for the ultimate sacrifice. Now, I don't know if Crack Baby's coming back because he's still got his stream up. I'm going to close it out just for safety measures